welcome today. My name is Tim McKee. I'm the CEO of the Olathe Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to welcome you to our third business lunch series for the year. And today we will discuss innovation and the future with one of our homegrown businesses, Garmin International. Our series sponsor for today's call is Johnson County Community College, and our event sponsors are McAllen Gordon Construction and Terracon. But before I introduce our speaker, I would like to introduce Susie Carson, our Vice President of Membership and Investment, who will be assisting me with any questions we receive from our viewers on the call. So please use the chat and message button, and we'll try and get those to Mike. Our speaker today is Michael Wiegers, Vice President of Consumer Engineering. And I'm going to read Mike's background, and then I'll turn it over to him. But Mike graduated from K-State with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering in 1982. After graduation, he joined King Radio here in Olathe, Kansas, to design VHF aviation communication and navigation radios. During his 11-year career with King Radio, he worked in new technology areas such as flight, critical software, and electronic display systems. In 1993, Wiegers joined Garmin as the lead engineer in marine product design. During his tenure, he has served in a variety of technical and business leadership capacities in all Garmin consumer product segments. Wiegers was named to his current position of Vice President Consumer Engineering in 2010 and directs the day-to-day operations of Garmin's worldwide consumer engineering group. He was named the College of Engineering 2018 Alumni Fellow at Kansas State University. In 2019, Wiegers and his wife, Lynn, invested in naming of the Mike Wiegers Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering in the Carl R. Ice College of Engineering, empowering the department to recruit and retain top faculty, support deserving students, and provide flexible funding for department leaders to take advantage of emerging opportunities. Mike and Lynn enjoy rural lifestyle on their farm in Baldwin City, and you saw the picture of Lynn out on the ATV, and they enjoy traveling and attending K-State events. So Mike, please take it away and tell us what's going on at Garmin International.
Super. Thank you very much, Tim, for that great introduction. And as you can tell, it's a nice purple office, and our staff does a great job of recognizing K-State, even though there's a few Jayhawks on that staff. So we're as long as it's a Kansas university, we love having people here. So we like that part of it. But anyway, no, thank you all very much. Let me change over and share my screen, Tim, and we're going to make sure this works again. There we go. Screen 2, share. And that should now have our Garmin logo. So I've enjoyed a career, as Tim mentioned, now here at Garmin for going on 28 years in January. And gosh, that's been a lot of fun seeing us grow from our first little building when I joined up in Lenexa, but now we're here in headquarters in this building, and been a fabulous growth. I was mentioning to Tim before we started, my employee number is 109, and that's a pretty low number, I think, for the team here. So really excited. And so I've been an Olathe resident or employee, if you will say it that way, since 1982 when I graduated K-State and took that job here at King Radio. So it's been a great thrill as well, seeing Olathe grow from that sleepy little town with lots of gravel roads to where we are today. And really thanks to the Chamber and all of our leadership, in the city to make that happen. So with the Garmin story, we'd like to touch a bit on our history, talk a little bit about our values that we believe lead to success that came from our co-founders and our current executive team, and then really give a few quick slides on how Garmin's making a difference. So my intention is really to talk for about 25 minutes and leave plenty of time for Q&A at the end in case you all have any questions. So let me see if this will go forward. There we go. So Garmin's mission, we take this really seriously. We strive to be an enduring company by creating superior products for automotive, aviation, marine, outdoor, and sports, our 5 core business segments. And they're an essential part of our customers' lives. And we probably all have mission statements, from current businesses or past businesses, but we really take this pretty seriously. And the key part that 2020 has really brought forward for Garmin is our passion for being enduring. And so what does that mean for us? We produce products that customers care about, like our fitness line, which, through this pandemic and people trying to find ways to stay fit have been super important. We also believe enduring comes from being a debt-free company. Our founders didn't believe in borrowing, and we still don't. So we have a healthy cash reserve, and that has really helped us get through 2020. So we believe those are the right strategies for us that keep us that enduring company, for the future. So we're all hoping what 21 looks like, but who knows? We hope we're well positioned with our beliefs and our foundation to remain a strong company for the years in the future. So we were founded in 1989. So we're a 31-year-old company by Dr. Min Kao and Mr. Gary Burrell. And Gary passed last summer, which was a pretty emotional time, for us when the passing of your founder was a really interesting time to reflect on our successes, our challenges. And like all of you in personal lives, funerals and weddings bring together people you haven't seen in decades. So while Gary's funeral was a sad event, it was also really nice to see our friends from the past. So we started in 1989 as building the first GPS product for airplanes and for boats. And it was very simple. And it was a big old thing that we at the time called a handheld and a portable device, but it really wouldn't fit in your pocket very well. So over time, we morphed by transforming GPS technology into different markets. And the picture on the bottom shows our automotive navigation device, which is probably where Garmin became a real market leader in a mass market consumer electronics field, which is the navigation devices on the dash of your car. And that really served to mature Garmin to look for opportunity, as well as develop our marketing and professional prowess in that marketplace. Our current Vice President of Marketing, Susan Lyman, serves with the Chamber. And through Susan's efforts back then in the original automotive days and where we are today, really has helped transform Garmin into more of a name brand and a mass market company, and not just the niche company we had started as, supporting boat builders and aviation manufacturers. That's still a huge, proud part of our heritage, but we've expanded far beyond that. And you can kind of see, this is a slide I threw in to have the privilege to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. So thinking 20 years ago when we were in, Cliff and I happened to be in Taiwan with our co-founder, Dr. Kao. So the picture on the upper left is our 10-year anniversary. And then I also had the privilege, I play in a little bit of a rock band. So I had the privilege for that band joining our celebration in Taiwan to kick off 30 years of Garmin last year as well. And then of course, it's just fantastic to think about where we were 20 years ago as a company and where we are today. The challenges remain, but our fundamentals and our value systems remain fixed, and we hope for a strong future. Part of that value system for Garmin is innovation. And this was a key part of Min and Gary's founding of Garmin, that we're going to be committed to products and services that really help people. So we want to be innovators looking at new markets. We want to pioneer and try new things. Some succeed, some don't. Min and Gary had the vision of being a global company. And so from day one, we had an office in Taipei. We had an office in Romsey, UK. So we had that aspiration to be global and to become more than just a local Midwest, serving more than Midwest customers. And they also had the vision to become multifaceted. Today, we're 5 business units, which we'll talk about in an upcoming slide. So we're really proud of pioneering new things and getting those new things into the hands of eager customers. A big part of, I mentioned Mr. King when we started up, so a part of our foundation from King Radio and now at Garmin was Gary's tireless belief in vertical integration. And what does that really mean to us? We want to take on and do all the job functions, all the responsibilities by ourselves, everything that makes sense, that we don't have to contract out or have a business partners manufacturing product for us. We control the supply chain, the engineering, the purchasing side, the manufacturing, sales, distribution, all these important parts of a business we control by ourselves. And that makes when our CEO Cliff Pemble wants to do something different, we can pivot very quickly. We don't have to go negotiate with a contractor, with a marketing agency, with you name it, from an outsourcing perspective. We can do all these things by ourselves. And it's really rewarding to see the one big Garmin team that's more than just engineering, which I represent, but all of our production, purchasing, IT infrastructure, everybody working together in this vertical fashion to serve end customers. And that's been, from a financial perspective, really good for Garmin. Over the last few years, we've grown our revenue such that in 2019, we finally got back to our Garmin's history back in the heyday of automotive, the on-dash navigation. We sold just over $3.5 billion of products back in that, about a decade ago. And through our diversification by design, through our focus on new business areas, we've been able to grow that revenue back and match where we were in Garmin's peak. And so roughly 3.7 billion was our revenue last year. And for us, a more proud factor, if I go to the next slide, are really the jobs that Garmin has created. So one of Gary's big passions was creating local jobs wherever the locality might be. So we have a really big staff, here in Olathe, probably 4,000 people, combined with throughout the rest of the world now, over 15,000 Garmin associates. So we really take pride. That's 15,000 families that we have a part of our family, if you will. But there's also a huge responsibility that we serve on the product development side, keeping new products coming and having enough revenue, the cool new things to support 15,000 global families in 75 offices in 32 countries. One of the things I reflect on sometimes is how lucky I am, to be a small Kansas kid from North Central Kansas, and I've visited most of these countries and offices. And who thought I would have that privilege to lead such a fine company, or the engineering department of such a fine company. So I'm really excited about what we've done in providing jobs and fun things for the world. So I mentioned earlier, we're a company of 5 business segments. I would like to really touch quickly on those 5 segments. But first, before I get there, why do we have such segmentation? One of the things our co-founder Min used to say is you cannot fight gravity, right? There's all kinds of gravity sources in the world. For Garmin, back in the 2000s, smartphones were a big part of gravity. And if we weren't careful, smartphones could crush our navigation business. So we took a task to intentionally diversify. Let's develop these adjacent businesses. Let's use the gravity of phones. Let's use other things, and let's go have some fun and create new products that are outside our automotive area at the time. So that's been a huge part of our journey, where automotive is still a big part of Garmin. When we look at the navigation systems we provide for cars that have been very traditional, but getting into cool new areas like off-road vehicles, motorcycles, delivery trucks, semi-trucks, and the RVing market. So that's a part of our diversification, is to move into those cool parts of automotive. So you can see a plethora of product offerings we have here for those various markets. One of the great things that we leverage from some of our failed product lines where we've tried to launch technology is like our cameras. So we're in the action camera business for just a little bit, trying to compete with GoPro. Many of you will probably remember that. And that didn't turn out so well for us, right? We had great product, but it was hard to unseat the market leader. So we transferred that great product, that great technology into automotive camera business. So great new products like this thing in the middle of the screen called Dashcam Tandem. That really is a forward-looking camera and a cab-looking camera designed for folks like Uber and Lyft drivers. Let's monitor our cabin as well as recording what's going on outside the car. Our OEM business, we have a new factory part here in Olathe, right, to build automotive OEM product for BMW. And we really are thankful for the city's support to get our new factory and warehouse built. And so we'll be able now to ship products to very respected manufacturers like BMW, Honda, Ford, and in the Asia market, Toyota and Geely. So it's really exciting for us to serve this market with built-in systems in the cars. Our outdoor market, we kind of joke around here when something doesn't fit a different business segment or a business segment, we'll put it in outdoor. So you can kind of see the diversity of hunting, hiking, dog training, golfing, diving, all these fun things we like to do in our free time is a huge part of our outdoor segment. So this has great diversity and super cool products that for me as a golfer, it helps me keep track of where that darn ball goes on the golf course. But you can see many of the new and innovative products that we're launching for the outdoor market this last year. And so it's been a lot of fun seeing customers and what they need to do or would like to do with these products and moving forward. Our fitness business has done really well, as you heard in our third quarter earnings release last week. So with the lockdowns around the globe, people are still wanting to stay healthy. So from the indoor cycling and outdoor cycling business is doing very well, as Cliff mentioned in our third quarter announcement. And so this product really covers all areas of health and wellness and staying fit with, you can see mostly watch-based, but also some cycling computers, as well as our indoor cycling trainers. So a part of our diversity is to have our business segments, these 5 segments, but also diversify heavily within a segment so we can figure out what customers might want to use for Garmin technology and Garmin product. And so it's interesting, we think of the Apple Watches and folks like that who are very respected competitors to Garmin, but we started this wearable journey back in 2003 by a clever engineer kind of wondering, I wonder what happens if I put a little handheld device on my wrist and went running, what happens? And so that has now spawned hundreds of watches and great product lines and satisfied customers for Garmin, around the globe. We also have our business segment of marine. So this involves the casual boaters to folks who like to fish and just basically getting out on the water and let's enjoy things. So again, a wide variety of technologies and products from our award-winning Live Scope Fish Finder bundle, which we see up in the upper left of the screen, down to handhelds for emergency rescue. So we have a very broad offering for every mariner and what they need around the globe. And then lastly, our aviation business. And this is an area where we're expanding greatly into the aircraft manufacturers. This was our first OEM design wins with folks like Cessna and Beechcraft here in Kansas. So been a very big part of Garmin with our aviation heritage and really proud to serve those customers. With basically, you can see all the electronics on the dash of the airplane is Garmin branded, but we also get down into the guts of the airplane with a servo controllers and other hidden black boxes that to help pilots become safer and more confident when they fly their plane. So it's been a big, big part of it. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of our history. And I'd like to think about some of the guiding principles that we strive for, that I've picked out from our leadership team. And I call that all things superior. So our current mission statement demands we do superior products and serve our customers really well. And I look at it this way, in the all things superior, superior products drive our growth. And I don't know if that, let me see if that's over the way there. I might have to move that around. Okay. So I would say that this one is really easy. We as engineering have the obligation to deliver superior things to our sales and marketing teams. And we do that really easily where we want to focus on the essential customer experience. So it's really easy to get distracted by financial computations or other things right as we lead a business. We believe very strongly in that the essential experience. So I interpret it this way for our team members. If we serve our customers well, good things will happen. If we don't, we might not exist. So it's always good to remember that, customers aren't out there, despite, Susan's great efforts of making the blue Garmin triangle very popular in the world. That triangle doesn't sell very many products. And we have to realize from engineering, it's our responsibility to design that superior product or service before we start working on financial computations or marketing plans. And so that's really our aspiration from Garmin's engineering team, figure out what customers need to enjoy their activities more, and let's go build that. And that gives us great joy to figure out what customers need. What's interesting over time, customers' questions evolve. We can probably remember back in the old days of Garmin, the big questions from automotive navigation: where am I? Where do we turn? Are we there yet? So we solved those questions with products in the a decade or so ago, but the questions from our customers are now different. How am I sleeping? How do I train for a 10K? How can my plane land itself? So Garmin's new customers still have very serious questions that we have to answer. And it's our engineering team's job, and we love doing this, to figure out, well, let's go figure out using our Garmin watch, if we can tell somebody how they're sleeping, how can they do better? How can they train for a 10K run? So we really love taking on these kind of evolving customer questions. The second part, as I think about Garmin on superior, would be a ladder of superior leaders. And in all companies, leaders drive the culture. So we want Garmin's leaders to drive the culture that Min and Gary created, and now Cliff and the executive team try to maintain. And that is our, the culture of any organization is really, it's nurtured by leaders, and it influences everything we do as a company. So as we help our leaders develop cultural awareness, we ask them to do certain things. Embrace the definition of superior, whether that's from the engineering perspective, the superior products we develop, or from our distribution center, what does superior shipping look like? Or from marketing, what are superior websites? The thing we all have to remember is superior is defined by our customer. It's not defined by us. So in my career at Garmin, some of the most humbling experiences have been those 1-star review on Amazon, right? We probably all put our sweat and our blood, our equity into products and cool things. And then to get a 1-star rating can really show you, well, the customers don't appreciate all that hard work. So we always want to remember, for Garmin's perspective, the customer defines what is superior and what they're going to spend their hard-earned money on. The other part of our culture is directing the organization toward strategic goals and combating complacency. We probably experience in any business, when there's some level of success, complacency can set in. But we like to remain a humble and slightly apprehensive company about our competitors and their capabilities. So we always want to try to overachieve on those products and to get them out to market for happy customers. And then the last pillar of superior, in my way of thinking at Garmin, is superior associates. We know that the 15,000 plus team members of Garmin here in Olathe and around the globe just do great things. As we expand into new markets, this is a picture of an impromptu group in our Garmin Italy team that got together when we announced we needed beta testers for a new dive watch as we entered the diving watch market. And we have all these passionate diving folks in our Italy office that said, hey, we'll be the Garmin dive team. And so it's really exciting to be part of a global organization that has people such as this that are passionate about what they do. And when we bring products to their hobby, to their passion, it's really exciting to see them light up and utilize their effort to help us go forward in product. And so for me, I'm always on the lookout around Garmin of the high performers, the high potentials. And this list might look different for the folks in your companies, but for me, I love folks who are passionate, loving what they do. They're certainly competent, knowing their subject matter expertise, very competitive, we're driven to win, and folks who are persistent. We've had a company with Garmin, we've gone through some setbacks, but we're persistent through Min and Gary's patience, and now Cliff's persistence as well. We're up off the floor, and let's go try it again. Let's go build the next cool new product or enter the next new market. So one thing we like to highlight to new associates and new leaders is that Garmin's culture is strongly built on caring and ownership. So we really heavily rely on individuals to care about what they're working on and to try new things. So we always have to remind our leaders that we need to be kind and gracious to associates who are trying new things. Right there, much like we are as leaders, every day can bring on a new thing in the world. Let's go figure out how to overcome COVID. Let's go figure out how to overcome these kinds of things. Let's be gracious and we'll figure it out with a timely feedback. And then for our associates at Garmin, I encourage everyone take new chances on a new role. If you've always wanted to be a project manager, heck, let's go try it. So we have a multitude of roles around the company and around the globe and figure out where might a new role lead. So we believe, strongly that caring about your work makes a big impression. And so that's really a huge part of caring for Garmin is what our products do out in the field. So the last thing I'd like to really touch on is how we believe we are making a difference. We have a desire to have purpose, to bring utility and being essential to a customer. We define this as being essential as a customer would say, I can't imagine playing a round of golf without my Garmin watch. I can't imagine fishing without my Garmin fish finder. I can't imagine X without my Garmin. To us, those are the kindest words that we can hear of being essential to a customer's passion and hobby. So just a few things where we're making a difference. Garmin's AutoLand technology. This was something that had been dreamed about for a number of years, and our aviation team got it certified this year. And this came up as the #2 achievement in the state of Kansas for local innovation. So we're so proud to be, and humbled, if you will, to be recognized with this technology, saving passengers' lives in an airplane. So fundamentally, this would be if you're the passenger in an airplane and your pilot becomes incapacitated for any reason, you flip the switch, the Garmin equipped AutoLand, the plane equipped with Garmin AutoLand finds the nearest airport, lands the plane, puts on the brakes, and ambulance arrives. So we're so proud that what this could do to help give comfort to passengers as well as pilots worrying about carrying their precious cargo as they go on vacation or business travel. So it's a super thing there. We serve emergency responders all around the globe. And this is a picture of the unfortunate wildfires a few years ago in California. And the fire crews, the emergency responders, the folks hiking, through the forest trying to put out fires rely on Garmin technology. And it's really, really meaningful to be able to assure they're at the right spot at the right time to help the general public with these emergencies. We talked a bit about health monitoring earlier, and this is one as we get into wellness detection. Again, we're not medical devices, but we can give some indication that, hey, your body is different today than it was yesterday. And this is a testimonial from a customer who learned from that something wasn't quite the same with their body as it had been. So went to see their doctor, and the doctor appropriately diagnosed an underlying condition. So we're really thankful that we can have these kind of customer testimonials that validate the wellness products that we build. And again, answering one of those new questions that customers are asking, am I okay? Is my health okay? So we're thrilled to be able to answer that kind of question. This is a very a simple chart that really showed the dark blue line is our normal indoor cycling business in a normal year. The hashed line shows the indoor cycling business sales from post-COVID. And I apologize, this slide is a little bit old, but the trends are there. That our indoor wellness business, that is folks who can't get out and socially interact, are doing more and more exercising and staying fit indoors. So we're really thankful to have a product line with our tax branded indoor cycling products that help serve those constrained customers. And then lastly, in our achievements, we have a technology called inReach. And this is a global communication and SOS system. So if you're incapacitated or get into trouble anywhere in the globe using a Garmin InReach equipped radio, you're able to summon help. It sends your GPS coordinates and the rescue team is on the way. And we get on average from our reporting team on this InReach technology, probably on the order of 30 rescues per week. And so we look at it, we don't know the severity, of course, of the rescues due to privacy regulation, but probably some percentage of those 30 would not have survived had they not had a Garmin product. And so that really brings great awareness and a joy that we can help people survive these kind of accidents of like when this boat crashes on the rocks. And so that's just a part of how we believe we're helping to serve. So one of the cool things is we have a really wide product offering, and the customers are always asking about the new ideas and new things. And what we can proudly answer to almost everybody, we make a product for you. So with Garmin's diversity, what we're looking to do in the world, and our launching roughly 80 new products a year, we hope we can serve every customer around the globe and with their passions and make their life better. So that's really what I wanted to talk about, a little of Garmin's history, our value system, and what we hope are the cool things we're doing to help make the world a better place. So Tim, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present Garmin's story, if you will, to the chamber. And so that was it for me.
Okay, well, Mike, I hope you're still available for some questions. We've got quite a few.
You betcha.
Throw out a couple just to start off with, and then we've got a few from our folks online. You talked a little bit about the pandemic and about, obviously people were riding more. How has the pandemic impacted you guys as a company? I noticed, the stock kind of went down like everyone else, and then boy, you guys rebounded, and it's amazing to see where you guys are after the third quarter. But can you talk a little bit about how the pandemic has impacted the company? You might even talk about internally as well, too, and how you're communicating with your staff. So go ahead.
Yeah, you bet. I think, Tim, thank you for that. When the pandemic first started, probably like most everybody, great uncertainty and what the heck is the future going to bring, and we were all very worried about the health and safety of our associates. So, we're currently operating at roughly 30% capacity in the building to make sure we have good social distancing practices here in the building. I would say that what I'm most proud of, again, our vertical company, we don't have to go contract with anybody. Our internal IT department was so on the ball and aware of how do we send, 15,000 associates home and keep them productive. So we think of monitors and Wi-Fi hotspots and I'm just so proud of the reaction of our IT group and others at Garmin that just said, well, we'll figure it out. Let's just go get an order into Dell. Let's do whatever it takes to get people equipped to work from home. So, probably the pandemic it reinforced our strengths of teamwork, and we're all in it together. That was a real proud part, of Garmin. It certainly still has, to me, a bunch of uncertainty. What does next year's, on-site occupancy look like? I suppose over the winter, we'll have to stay a little bit empty like we are, just to keep everybody distanced and safe. And then sometime next year, we kind of hope, following the Kansas Department of Health guidelines, figure out what we can do to reintegrate into the building. But I expect, Tim, it's really hard. We had this discussion this morning. What is the new normal? Are we sitting in the new normal right now? And probably none of us really know. We're just, week by week, day by day, let's go figure it out. So we certainly recovered well, as you mentioned, the stock price is due to our strong product portfolio. And I could say, Tim, that it makes me proud again we have our warehouse across the street. It's full of Garmin products, not so many as it used to be, due to demand, but we're able to manufacture and ship and then distribute products by ourselves. And that's really puts us in a very competitive position against others who are relying on supply chains that could be interrupted, due to COVID. So kind of a long answer, but I bring it back to we're in teamwork. we're aspiring, our co-founder Gary Burrell's vision to serve customers, right? All that really matters is happy customers. And so we're doing all we can, with personal spacing and everything like that, just to make happy customers.
So Mike, speaking of health and those type of things, you do have wearables that do monitor some health related issues. Do you foresee any wearables specifically for medical wearables? I did see an article recently that just yesterday that said that the company was getting into wearables specifically for women around certain things, and can you talk about that and medical wearables specifically, and is that the future?
Yeah, absolutely. We could talk about that, Tim. I think when we get into things that are FDA certified, what we would call true medical devices, we have to be super careful talking about that. So I don't intend to address that at all today. That's a whole different area of legality. But when we talk about our wellness market, which is using like the pregnancy feature and
Yes.
of course menstrual cycle tracking, have been fantastic features, and it really points out we're a company where people's passions and knowledge can get transferred to product development. And the lady who led our women's health areas with menstrual cycle and now pregnancy was very passionate about, gosh, we need to help people. We just all want to know more about our bodies, and our little watch can, through some magic that I don't understand, it figures out, ovulation, it figures out all these things. And it's like, holy cow. So it's really been our number of subscribers that are part of our women's health group, it's probably surpassing, I know it's over 1 million and probably beyond that, of customers we're helping understand their body better. And so we'll continue a path of what else can we learn about your body, help you learn about your body. We don't want to know about it, but help you learn about your body and how things how can you live healthier. So if we ever cross over the FDA bridge, and build real medical products, Tim, will be an interesting time for Garmin, but just probably don't really want to touch that today.
All right, thanks. I know Susie has a few questions that we received from them. So Susie, why don't you go ahead?
Yes, good afternoon, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us. So Garmin, of course, is known around the country. We're so lucky to have the opportunity to work with you in Olathe. Min Ko and Gary Burrell are known, widely known. What is your best memory working with them?
Well, that's a real funny one. I told Min this story, or Min had talked to me a few weeks ago about memories of Garmin. And what's super fun about the first day I started at Garmin, Min had this trip arranged. We were going to New Bedford, Massachusetts to meet a potential supplier. And we go up there and we go to the restaurant. And of course, Massachusetts, that whole East Coast is famous for lobster and fun things like that. And I don't eat fish. And so it was really funny. Min, he really got all over me in a fun, loving way about, what do you mean you don't eat lobster? What do you mean you don't eat fish? We're up here in the kingdom of fresh fish. And how can this be? So it was really funny. Min just couldn't quite understand how that was. And it's funny how food comes to mind. And our co-founder, Gary Burrell, Gary was a very frugal, conservative person. And I can remember that same year, we traveled to the Consumer Electronics Show with Gary to kind of go see, hey, where could we be in consumer electronics? And that's held out in Las Vegas. And of course, the land of a free breakfast buffet, we had breakfast at McDonald's. And so that was just a Gary passion of, we're going to save money because we're going to invest it. You can see the wisdom, being serious about it, the wisdom of his philosophy. I remember standing with Gary, as we were doing the groundbreaking here in Olathe, and he kind of explained his vision of a campus. And I thought, we're 100 people in this little building. What do you mean campus? So it really speaks to the vision of an entrepreneur like Gary and Min were, how they can envision this corner in Olathe now housing 4,000 people, something beyond our first little building. So all joking aside, that's my super best memory of Garmin, is Gary talking about a campus.
I think that's wonderful. And I think that's great. I said country, you guys are world. I mean, you guys are all over the place. So I think that's so visionary. Great to hear. Okay, so we have another question from one of our attendees. Garmin has a long-standing reputation of attracting and retaining high-quality talent, even in times when talent is extremely in high demand. What do you believe is different about Garmin's company culture that helps attract and retain this quality workforce in Olathe?
Super, that's a great question. And this is a question in particular that work from home quite challenges us in our fundamental beliefs. We really believe strongly in teams physically working together to see the fruits of their labor, the physical products that we develop. And that is really challenging in a virtual environment. So we've been trying to understand over the last year, that we've been at work from home, how we link people into the products. And then, like the slides I showed at the end of the presentation, how those products make a difference. So I believe, Susie, a part of our ability to attract top talent is not necessarily those people who want to work on the most difficult of solutions, but it's translating those solutions into how it helps customers, how it helps, aircraft manufacturers or boat builders or ladies, how it helps them do better in their passions and their hobbies. So the more successful we are, Susie, connecting people to the product they build and to the end customer, it helps us overcome the company where, well, you're writing code, you're designing circuits for some unknown thing that gets built halfway around the world and you never see the end result. So our mission has always been about connecting people to that. I get great pride back in the days when we'd walk through a Best Buy or a Walmart when we could do that and see our products on the shelves. That gives me personal pride to see what our teams have done. And I hope we can reflect that in the new associates that join Garmin. So we hope that remains our secret sauce, and it will be challenging in a work from home environment to keep that physical interaction. The other side of it, Susie, just really quickly, we hear reports from our global team members that work from home has been improved their communication. So no longer are we just groups of people in a hallway talking. We have to get on Teams or Skype or Zoom, and it immediately brings it levels and brings everybody in around the globe to be part of a better team. So our teamwork has greatly improved. It's a shame to say that it took a lockdown to improve our global teamwork, but it has been. And so that's really been an interesting thing for us too.
Mike, one of the next questions that we had received was, out of all the different segments, which segment currently is kind of leading, and where are you seeing the most growth out of those different segments that you talked about?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. We would probably firstly say, Tim, from Cliff's report last week, he highlighted some great growth in our, I would call them the non-transportation segments, where things have really been hurt a little bit. I think where we see the best potential growth for us is probably in our wellness area of people who want to maintain a healthy lifestyle and keep things, how's my body doing, as we're all concerned, about COVID, and that thing is probably a very natural area. What's really been interesting, Tim, is that something I didn't expect is our marine business would do so well. It's driven by great technology and our live scope fish finders. But I guess you could probably see that, right? Social distancing on a boat is a great thing. And so to me, that's, I would say, is our most surprising growth area, over this last year. And it's really having the right products, the right technology out there, and has developed, alternate retail channels for us with the not only Garmin.com sales, but other retailers that chose to stay open and have been really good partners for Garmin.
And Mike, are all of those products designed here in Olathe, or is that something done globally, or where is the engineering work mostly done?
Yeah, great question, Tim. From our consumer engineering group, which is the team I lead, we've got probably 2,500 engineers around the globe, most of them here in Kansas, but we're certainly dispersed. I would say all of our product decisions, our product discernment comes from the headquarters here in Olathe. And then we have different design teams around the globe that can take on that product idea and get it done. But generally all the ideation comes here in Olathe. We've got a great industrial design studio and just a bunch of great folks that help us get the right products conceived and then started.
That makes me very proud to hear that most of it's done here in Olathe, and just to think that it's Kansas. It's here in the middle of the United States. It's not done on the coast. It's not done overseas. It's right here, and all done by our engineers here in Olathe, Kansas. So that's really.
We do have part of our acquisitions in the past, Tim, to be fair about it. We have had pockets of expertise, like our dog training team down in Tucson, fantastic group, and they take care of the dog market. We have our Garmin aviation transport team, Garmin AT, out in Salem, Oregon. They kind of take care of a lot of the aviation business. So it's not all authored from here in Kansas, but we just have great people that know their market, know what their customers want really well. So we're really excited about that.
Susie?
Perfect. So Mike, we've got another question about your OEM in automobiles.
Yeah.
Do you know the first year that you started putting OEMs in automobiles, and there's been a lot of advancement and innovation just recently. Can you kind of talk about that and the progress that has made?
Yeah, you bet. I'll remember, and probably, I don't know if Susan Lyman's online, but she probably remembers this really well too, where Gary Burrell and myself and others approached a Chrysler back in, I think, 1999, something like that, to put a street pilot unit built into their Jeep or built into a Chrysler vehicle. And it was an interesting project, and we never quite got there to the mass market, but our OEM desire in automotive, Susie, probably started, I would say, late 90s from memory, and has led into, trying to get our foot in the door, get your foot in the door, prove yourself. And then, the recent design wins and acknowledgement from BMW, from Daimler, from others has been very exciting for us to be now a part of a company that can serve the respectable and major manufacturers of automotive product around the globe. So we've had over the course of time some very nice wins. Chrysler has been a partner for a long time with some navigation boards we did. We never really had the proud Garmin displays in the car, but it was really an exciting effort for us over time to build up to where we are today. So when we talk about future potential, and Cliff talks about this in the earnings report, I want to be careful, right? That OEM, we believe, has a good future for Garmin. We've never publicly disclosed what those numbers could look like, but we think it is a very healthy business for us to invest in and become a respectable and trusted supplier to the major car manufacturers around the globe.
Well, Mike, I know you're in Honda because I've got a Honda that first it comes up. So
oh, we like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. We love talking to customers. It's more enjoyable to talk to happy customers, but we also see when I wear my Garmin shirt through the airport and, hey, I got a problem, and mostly people are happy, but sometimes they aren't. And so it's really also being a nice vertical integrated company. We have our product support team, up here on Ridgeview in North Olathe, and it's really exciting to be able to say, hey, I'll get you I have a contact. Let me try to help you. So again, that's not the joyous part of the job, to hear customers complaining, but we know if we can serve them well and take care of their problem, they'll probably give us a second chance. And that's, again, a big part of Gary's philosophy of serving even unhappy customers, and is now carried forward by our product support team. Yeah.
That's wonderful, Mike. So I'm going to lead into that next question, because you kind of said that OEM might be in the future. So what does the future look like? We know you can't give away any secrets, but I've had some questions about radar detection. Is that something you guys have thought about getting into, or is there anything you can say about what future products that you might be looking into?
Yeah, we've looked at all these kind of fun things to integrate, like radar detectors, for quite a while, and so far just can't figure out what do we do that's special. Right. One of the things that we don't want to be a commodity provider of, and use this example, we're not in radar detectors, but we don't want to go build a cheaper radar detector and try to compete on price, because that just drives to the bottom and nobody makes any money. That's, to us, a bad investment. We'd like to figure out with technology, whether it be radar detection or other things, what can we do with that? So let me turn it a little bit on you, Susie. Radar detection has many aspects. one of the greatest new products we build is called the Varia bicycle radar. And so using that same radar technology, we look behind you on your bicycle as you're riding down a busy street. And we give you a warning, how far away is that car? If the car gets close enough, we start flashing the lights on the tail light assembly on the back of your bicycle. So radar technology for us is really important, all the way from our aviation, in-flight radars down to this system, which can detect cars are coming up behind you. So in a broader scope, we are doing radar detection. It's just not speed cameras and things like that, for drivers, but radar is a super important technology for us, and really makes those customers who's, again, saving customers or helping customers when we get those testaments that come into, hey, your Varia product saved me. I was able to swerve and get off the road when this crazy guy about hit me. And so that really is a good testament to the various technologies and the ways we use them around the globe.
Absolutely. That's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of switch back. We talked earlier about workforce development, and I had another question about your guys' internship program.
Yeah.
So Garmin, of course, has a very strong internship program.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of workers come to our city to check out Garmin.
That's right.
What areas of focus in education are you encouraging them to pursue to stay on the cutting edge of innovation? So if you could talk to high schoolers right now, what are you, middle schoolers, what would your thought be with that?
Gosh, Susie, I think STEM initiatives have been huge throughout the U.S. over the last decade plus. And I think we have a good high school internship program with Olathe Northwest. And so we're bringing in, high schoolers to intern, and man, that's some smart kids. They come in and just write software and just to make amazing products. And so for us, we really encourage people to, if you want to be a software developer or an application developer or electrical or mechanical engineer, gosh, go pursue that passion and come to us for an internship over the summer and help develop that professional skill set that it takes to develop, gee, what do I really want to do, for a career? Is it engineering, or is it nursing, or is it, what might it be that makes me get up in the morning and go to work? So for us, we really encourage engineers when they go back to school, really pay attention to this course of study, to whatever the curricula is that you're following, get all the right courses, but also be diverse. And for me as an electrical engineer, it was beneficial to know a little bit about mechanical engineering, a little about software engineering, to kind of be a bit more well-rounded as I came out of school. So it's kind of a message of, utilize your talents and utilize what the heck you love doing and go study that. And then bring those applications to Garmin, and let's make great products for the world.
Susie, can I ask or add on to that? Just Mike, are you getting the workforce? Is there enough, engineers and people that you need here in the Midwest? Is that, or do we need to encourage more kids to go into those type of STEM jobs?
Yeah, I think, Tim, if we could get STEM initiatives to really improve the universities in Kansas enrollment, that would be really helpful. We see the statistics, from the state where university enrollment is declining. I have the privilege to serve on the advisory council at the K-State, and really see enrollment numbers are really challenged because our universities in Kansas, we get about 85% of our students from Kansas high schools, and those high schools are declining. And so that really is a great pressure for the university systems in Kansas, and then for employers like ourselves who primarily recruit from our local area. Of course, the universities here in Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri are our really core, Iowa State, sorry, I forgot about Iowa, are real core schools where most of our talent moves to Kansas City. Olathe and Kansas City are very attractive places, for students to come for full-time jobs. So we're really thankful for the infrastructures of the cities and to help support us. But I think, Tim, it is a challenge to find the head count that we need to keep fueling our growth. And so we like to utilize our efforts. Susan Lyman and I have a good battle. She's on the advisory council for KU. I'm on the advisory council for K-State. So let's go fight over engineering students is a fun thing there. But to be serious about it, we do hope that our local university systems, including Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, can crank out all kinds of great graduates that will join Garmin and build products for the future.
Thank you, Mike. I'm going to go ahead. So I have a daughter in 8th grade, and I know she had the opportunity to come visit Garmin for one of your STEM workshops. So thank you for that. Oh, she loved it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm so happy with our sponsorship. Of course, I don't think it'll happen this year, with the robotics competitions that were here at Olathe South last year. That was just fantastic to have that competition so close to the office and people to go over and witness the passion of young folks getting into STEM. I really loved it.
Yes. Well, thank you for all you do on that note. But so I do have one more question. I think we have time, Tim, if it's okay.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about succession planning for cross-training in key positions?
Yeah. I think we, from a succession planning or cross-training, would really like to one of my passions these days is finding folks who want to do more, want to learn more so that they can do more. I think is the real key, right? We want to give people chances. And like I said in my slide, be kind and gracious to those trying new things that they may make a mistake, because you don't want to discourage a high potential associate. And, we can think of a number of associates that I've worked with in the last few years at Garmin that we've encouraged to try new things. And some folks like that now lead very important functions like our data privacy team. Who would have ever thought we needed data privacy, as a skill set or as a department? But this is a super important thing, with we're all encumbered now with privacy regulations and legislation around the world. And it's really important to have top-notch people who can run the business of privacy. And that's just one example, thinking about the joy I see. And that's not necessarily succession planning, Susie, it's creating new departments out of people who I'll try it. Okay, let's go give it a try. And through the wisdom of our leaders like our CEO Cliff and others at Garmin, let's figure out the roles we need and help people become professional and talented in new roles that have never existed. Of course, there's the classic succession planning of, well, we need another engineering leader, or if I get hit by the bus, what happens to engineering? Those kind of topics go on to try to figure out organizational sustainability and health. But I'm a little bit more focused myself on people who want to do more. How do we help them learn how to do more? And one thing I would close with is we're a company of A students. We hire the very best. And sometimes A students don't take failure very well. So from their own mindset, right? So helping these students accept that, well, you tried it and it wasn't exactly right the first time. Let's be persistent. Let's get up and we'll try it again. No harm, no foul. Let's keep going. And so it's just really exciting to see people grow and do things they never thought they could do. And that's really been the most joy for me at Garmin, doing things that we never thought possible by people who didn't think they could do it. And it's really a satisfying career. And I'm so proud of our company to support that type of effort.
Well, Mike, thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for sharing. And we're very proud of Garmin here and what they've done and what they mean to the community as well, too. I think Garmin steps up in just about every charitable venture that we have here in Olathe, and we just really appreciate it. And please continue to grow and expand and hire great people. And we look forward to the future and to see what the future brings for Olathe and for Garmin in Olathe. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. We're proud to be a part of it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Cheers. Thank you.
Sure. Bye.